Hi everyone, there's actually people here, so I'm quite excited. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to you all. So my name's Fonda, and I'm a Scrum Master / Agile Delivery Manager for Previous Next. So look, it's 3:30. We've had afternoon tea. We're not far away from the finish line now. As soon as I leave this conference, my holiday starts. So I'm just as keen as you are to wrap up. So let's start. Is it working? Okay, great. All right, so if you remember one thing from this talk, it'll likely be my name. It's Fonda, by the way. These are all names I've been accidentally called at some stage. So I've managed to add to this collection over the years. I legit have not made any of these up. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on. You can have a look at that slide another time. All right, so a quick survey just for my benefit. Do I have any Scrum Masters or Agile Delivery Managers in the room? All right, cool. So does that mean the rest of you are devs or project managers then? Any project managers? No? Yeah? All right, cool. Wow, okay, this is going to be tough. All right, so who thinks they're an extrovert then? Yeah, right, okay. Who's in the middle? Yeah? Nice, okay. And then who's definitely an introvert? Who has no idea what I'm talking about? Thank goodness. All right, good. All right, so personally, I feel like I sit somewhere but, you know, I do have introvert tendencies. But anyway, this talk isn't about me. I'm not here to talk about why Scrum Masters are important, and I'm also not here to talk about why, what a good Scrum Master does or anything like that. I'm going to assume you've picked my talk because you have some interest in introversion. You have an introvert Scrum Master managing your team maybe. You want to see if you can pick up any tips on how to deal with an introvert coworker. Or none of the other talks were appealing, so you thought this one would be a doozy. And I won't lie, you might have made a mistake, but hopefully I can make the next few minutes worth your while. Okay, so here are all my caveats before I get heckled off stage. The introvert and extrovert labels in arguments can get pretty silly, so I use the terms really loosely. I'm not arguing one is better than the other at all. I'm certainly not arguing that extroverts can't be good Scrum Masters. I'm not arguing that all introverts are as I'll be describing, and I'm not arguing that all introvert Scrum Masters are amazing. This talk is purely based on my observations over the years, as I've met quite a few Scrum Masters through various guilds in different companies. Okay, so before I get into it, I thought this table was very interesting. It shows the differences between the two. Key thing to note is that socializing drains the introvert and recharges the extrovert. A typical introvert recharges when they're alone. And it's nice to see the comparisons between being shy and obnoxious. I'm only going to have time to go through three key benefits of an introvert Scrum Master. So let's do it. Okay, so firstly, they're super empathetic. They have a lot of feelings, but this is what allows them to create a healthy team culture where each person feels comfortable enough to share. They're not focused on their voice being heard, it's all about the team. They're observant and analytical of people, and they immediately recognise other introverts on the team. So they use all of this knowledge to create a team culture that suits everyone. So in my current team, I have about 3 introverts. One in particular, who's the PO, hates team activities or anything where she might end up being the centre of attention. I learned this about her early on, so I've made sure that I don't choose any outrageously extrovert team activities. So why is this important? Because I want her to continue to come to all of our ceremonies and share her updates, but I also want her to keep feeling comfortable enough to share retros. Sorry, I keep doing that. Is that annoying? Move over here. I'd hate for anyone on the team to dread our meetings, so it's important for me to keep cultivating a culture where everyone's happy to share and collaborate. In a previous role, one of my Scrum teams had extreme introverts only, and the sort of feedback I'd get from them is our company made us do a lot of team activities that were outrageously extrovert. And their response was very negative because they felt like they were just out of their comfort zone, so they didn't want to participate. What's the point of doing these activities if not everyone's going to enjoy it? And you want to be agile enough to adapt to your audience, and this is where empathy plays a key role. Secondly, introvert Scrum Masters are awesome listeners and problem solvers. So I've sneakily grouped these together. Because the introvert Scrum Master's focus is constantly on the team, they're very good listeners. So you'll have their undivided attention when speaking to them. This is important because it builds trust between the Scrum Master and team members. There's nothing worse than trying to talk to someone who's constantly looking at their phone or typing away on their laptop. Listening and problem solving go hand in hand because they'll actively listen to all your bitching and moaning, not that my team does, and like Vanilla Ice want to do something about it. The benefit here is that there's someone influential for everyone on the team to vent to who's also willing to do something about what you're concerned about. And that's just to ensure things return to normal for you and the team. This builds trust within the team. You often get to hear both sides of the story. And you build rapport and resolve issues a lot more effectively. A little comic that I'll let you digest for a second. I just want to add that for the introvert, listening and observing leads to self-reflecting and a heightened sense of self-awareness. So the introvert Scrum Master doesn't just focus on what others do better, they'll reflect on their own performance and behaviour and make improvements accordingly. So I've worked with a bunch of managers who are always quick to give their direct reports negative feedback, but when I asked them the feedback they'd received, they often said they didn't need to change or improve because they're the boss. This was a very disappointing discovery for me, and I never want to be like these managers because I just don't think that's how you manage and inspire teams. And this is why being a servant leader suits introverts to a T, because they never draw attention to themselves. They serve the members of the team and they do what they can behind the scenes to remove blockers. And they can also discreetly influence all the right people. So this is done effectively because all come from them actively listening to the team. Okay, ignore that for a second. There's a few studies that have been done on this, and there was one published in 2013 that I found interesting. Now, I know if you're not into it, that's all fine, and I'm committing a huge presentation crime by showing you a slide with a lot of words. But this sentence says exactly what I believe. I won't make you read it, so I'll just summarise it for you. It's basically a study done within retail, so not even software development. And the leader basically helps out the team, but also influences team members to do the same, which leads to teams responding positively and performing a lot better compared to other types of leadership, which might include an extrovert manager. It's a good segue to my next point. You're probably wondering, okay, girl, you've been talking about how the introvert Scrum Master is always listening, observing, pondering, analysing, and that sounds exhausting. Well, it is. Introvert Scrum Masters commit to making each session, meeting or workshop they run as pleasant as possible for everyone, and they ensure everyone feels like they're being heard. So, if it's not already obvious, a lot of people skills are required for this role. And yes, that Z is intentional for any grammar Nazis. I'm a grammar Nazi myself, but the Scrum Master role is a people-focused role. So forget what the job descriptions say. It's all about people. Understanding people, finding the best ways to get people to work together. And yet, introverts are consistently misunderstood as being loners, too quiet, too shy, too antisocial. None of that is true, not for all introverts anyway. An introvert Scrum Master will fake it if they have to. You might not even suspect that they're an introvert, as a few people may have said to me before, because they'll know that they'll only get out of the session what they put in. So they'll always be chipper and hope everyone follows suit. So just as we've discovered, that's the servant leader being the team role model and influencing everyone on the team. And before you ask, this doesn't apply to those on the far end of the spectrum. Anyway, so the benefit here is that they're there to serve you and the rest of the team. They just want you to focus on getting stuff done, and they're committed despite all human interactions being exhausting. There's so much to process during interactions that it leads to an overstimulation of the brain, which I'm sure you've heard a lot. Their mental and physical energy is drained after running a session, and that's the ironic part. They run meetings, they organise, they socialise, they talk, they email, they instant message and negotiate with people constantly, even though it leaves them with crippling exhaustion. So this is true for me personally. When I'm running a session, I'm on, I'm in the zone, and I want to help the team get what they need. I don't switch off until my remote team's hung up and the rest of my team's gone back to their desks. Those few moments later when the room is empty is bliss because I can pack up, collect my thoughts, reflect on the session and start recharging. So if you ask me why I continue to do this despite needing to carry the burdens of everyone's problems, the pressure to run good meetings and reach good outcomes, just to feel the general exhaustion after each day, Well, it's because I get a kick out of getting people to work really well together and watching them evolve into high-performing teams. But also, as with anything, it's good to have a balance. I just raced through that because I was scared I'd go over. So in terms of contacting me, I'll be honest, I actually only use Twitter to make complaints about companies that have pissed me off. So other than that, Twitter is completely dead to me. But if you want to ping me or anything on LinkedIn or email me, feel free to. Unfortunately, I can't stick around as I have to catch a flight very soon. Otherwise, thank you.